I hear a lot of trade rumors going around right now for the Lakers, and there should be a lot of trade rumors. This team is number 2 in the West. We have plenty of room to improve. This team shows potential. It shows promise. If Rob Pelinka is not getting on the phone trying to make a trade to improve this team, he's being negligent. But I don't want us to make a trade for the sake of making a trade. I don't want us to make a trade for the sake of acquiring a quote-unquote 3-and-D wing. We need a 3-and-D wing. That's what people keep saying. And it's like, you guys, that's so damn stupid. That is so stupid. I'm not saying, of course, there's value for a quote-unquote 3-and-D wing. I know what a quote-unquote 3-and-D wing is. But it's so damn stupid to carry on like that. And if it's not a trade of the magnitude of, let's say, Austin Reaves for Trey Murphy III, then we're wasting time. Dorian Finney-Smith helped us out on the margins. That's it. He helped us out on the margins. You know, he was not the type of piece that was going to get us to the next level. And to acquire a piece that's going to get us to a next level is going to require someone to put their nuts on the line and make a trade that they firmly believe is going to do what we define as success as Laker fans. So what is success as a Laker fan? Right now, I mean. Success is winning a championship. Is success for the Lakers the same as it is for New Orleans? Is success for the Lakers the same as it is for, let's say, Golden State right now? No. We're number 2 in the West. We've played enough games and have a big enough sample size that we know what this team is. Success is defined by a title. If Rob Pelinka goes and makes a trade for a quote-unquote 3-and-D wing because some of the simple-minded, that's all they know to say. We acquired a 3-and-D. So fucking what? Yo, if I go out and I tell my wife, hey, I made money today. Then I go out the next day and I say, I made money today. And every day it's $75. Did I lie to her? No. But it's obviously not enough. To just say, see, that's the equivalent of what a bunch of you guys are doing with this 3-and-D wing shit. Right? You guys say, oh, we got a 3-and-D. So what? Who is the 3-and-D that we got? Because if it's some guy on the margins, and you think, okay, yeah, he's better than Dalton Connect. Well, Dalton Connect don't get any playing time right now. We can't find minutes for Dalton Connect. So what are you saying? You're effectively saying nothing. You see, for this team right now, this team has an issue. And this is the issue. We got Luka, who is going to be Luka, who you have to let be Luka. Would I like to see him in more of a system? Yes. I've made many videos about that. But you have to let Luka be Luka. Dude's that great. But we also have Austin Reaves, who wants to be Luka also, who wants to play like Luka also. He is not great. He is not that good. And you have a redundancy that I feel like any team who aspires to be a championship cannot have. You can have redundancy if it's two guys who are two different sizes, right? Let's say you got a 6'6" guy and a 6'11" guy, and they play relatively similar games, definitely different positions. That's one thing. But when you have two guys who have to have the ball in their hands and pound the air out the ball in order to be them, that's a different story. And that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing the Austin Reaves, who I feel, and I've explicitly said, I think is a ball hog. I think he got to go. I like him. I saw him come up from a baby in the organization. I like him. You find a guy who went undrafted, who is going to be an all-star this year. Yo, you got to like him. As a fan of your team, you have to like that guy. I get it. With that being said, he got to go. And if we're making trades for guys like, say, a Gary Trent Jr., he's only going to help you marginally. He's not going to help you like that. And I'm afraid that Laker fans, because I firmly believe Rob Pelinka goes like this. Which way is the wind blowing? Okay, because the wind is blowing this way and everybody wants this, I won't get in trouble if I do that. I believe that's what he's on. I think that's how he moves. And we're going to waste time and effort if we pursue a guy who's only good marginally. That's one. Two, in order to make a trade of any effect, you're going to have to give up something. And if you're taking Austin Reaves off the table, which I've heard they are, I heard someone say yesterday that the only way the Lakers trade Austin Reaves is if they get back Giannis, which is basically them saying, no, we're probably not going to trade Austin Reaves. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe the Lakers would trade Austin Reaves if the right package came along. But I do also believe that the Lakers don't want to make a mistake. Now, that could be saying nothing. Who wants to make a mistake, right? But I believe the Lakers don't want to make a mistake to the point that the management is thinking about themselves before they think about the team. That's a problem. Okay? And there's tiers to this. So Austin Reaves and what you might get for an Austin Reaves is one tier. What you might get for a Rui Hachimura and a Gabe Vincent, that's another tier. And then you have a bottom tier, in which you make a trade on the margins to give the fans red meat so that they'll shut the fuck up. Okay? We don't need a trade on the margins to give the fans red meat so that they'll shut the fuck up. We don't need it. It's not going to help us at all. It's a trade to make a trade. There's no point in doing that. I personally, the way Rui Hachimura is playing, believe he's off the table. What are you going to get for Rui Hachimura? Are you going to get someone who does something effectively better at their position than Rui Hachimura is doing on this team, in which you have Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic dominating the ball? And then right after that, you got LeBron James. There's no room for anybody to do anything more than what Rui Hachimura is doing. He is a perfect fit. He has chemistry with the guys. There's no point in even involving him in a trade. In my opinion, the one guy that is on the table that you have to consider, and actually is a package, I'll add a couple more guys in, but the one guy you have to consider is Austin Reaves. He's the one who he has us thinking with our hearts and not with our head. He's the one who, when you watch a game, he obviously does not fit. I don't give a shit that he averages 28 points a game. You watch the game, he obviously does not fit. And if you could find a team who looks at him and says, oh, we want him, or is just enamored with him, get rid of him. He got to go. Now, when you get rid of him, you may have to give up a don't connect. All right? You might have to give up. And I hate to see this guy go because I think that his potential is out of this world. Adu Thiero. You may have to give up something to get something back. You always have to. But I just wanted to make this video to articulate that making a trade for a quote-unquote 3-and-D wing is stupid. If it's not a trade the magnitude of a player like Trey Murphy III, we're wasting time. Trey Murphy III makes us championship contenders immediately. Can we get him? I don't know. I'm just giving you a player of the magnitude that we need to get in order to get us over the hump. Trey Murphy III is 25. Austin Reaves is 27. Austin Reaves got some contract shit coming up that may, defer a team like New Orleans from, taking him on. But there's no point in wasting time. There's no point in blowing smoke up your own ass. Lie to other people. Don't lie to yourself. What's the point in lying to yourself? You're just hurting yourself. And, as I'm listening to these trade rumors, I keep hearing people say, oh, if the Lakers could get a 3-and-D, who gives a fuck about a 3-and-D wing for all practical purposes? It's not that. Who is the 3-and-D wing? If you're telling me Dorian Finney, who gives a fuck about Dorian Finney-Smith? He ain't helped this team. I mean, maybe he did help this team, but I mean, give me a break. Dorian Finney-Smith ain't it, y'all. Or that caliber player is not it. It's like earlier, I was listening to people talk about trading for Nick Claxton. Like, you guys, Nick Claxton is 10 points and 7 rebounds a game. The fuck you gonna trade for Nick Claxton for? You could literally take Timmy and put him in and give him 30 minutes a game. He'll do 10 and 7. Is he what you need around the basket? No, he's not. He's not the same player, but yeah, he'll give you other things. In other words, what I'm getting at is there is no point in trading a Rui Hachimura for a Nick Claxton. Especially not this year. Nick Claxton will give you marginally more or less than Jackson Hayes. That's who the dude is. That's who he's been. So don't approach this 3-and-D thing like the way I'm talking about Nick Claxton. Don't approach it like that. You're wasting your time. If you really want the team to get better, like I said, you're going to have to sacrifice something. And in my opinion, that sacrifice is Austin Reaves. If you could make it happen. Anyway, y'all, this is Pure Uncut Lakers. Man, I'm hearing a lot right now. And I think it's because the Lakers are actually potential contenders. Especially if they make a move here or there. They're contenders. And when you're contenders, you should be hearing about trades and stuff. Anyway, y'all, this is Pure Uncut Lakers. Please like and subscribe. I'll hit you up later on.